Hey there, YouTube. Gonna do another quick knife review comparison today. Today I'm gonna talk about the Spyderco Southard Hunan. I don't know if it's Hunan or Hunan. I'm just gonna say Hunan. Really like this knife. This one kind of grabbed my attention kind of at the last second. I had intentions on buying something else. And then this one came out, or I found this one online for a pretty good deal. I want to say I picked it up in the 160s, somewhere between 160 and 170. It's hard to say, I don't really recall. S30V blade steel. It's got kind of that long clip point, recurve belly, S30V blade steel, flipper tab, combination of titanium and G10 scales, titanium pocket clip, with the compression lock, and just about the cleanest action. Again, I talked about it with my my Hogue Deca, how just ridiculously smooth and clean the action was on it. This is another one. It's just immaculately clean. To be honest, I've never taken this knife apart and haven't done just a ton of research on it. Outside of just handling it, it's hard to say if that's phosphor bronze washers or bearings. This is out of the Taichung, Taiwan plant. And the only other knife that I've taken apart from them is on bearings, so could go either way. I've got to think this is on bearings. This is just such a smooth knife. Really cool looking knife. I really like it a lot. Let's get a couple of quick measurements on it. It's a surprisingly small knife. When I went online to buy it, I was really expecting more of size-wise, something just bigger. So the overall blade length is just shy of 3 inches, so I'd say probably 2.75 inches to 2.8 inches. The cutting edge is, because of the way it sweeps out, the cutting edge is right at 3 inches. But the blade length is under 3 inches. Go figure that. How does that work? It's this big swoop underneath that goes beyond the level of the scales. Overall length is just shy of 7 inches, right at, again, that 6.75 to 6.8 inch length. Get a quick weight on it. It is 2.81, 2.82 ounces. So just a really nice little knife. This is one I would definitely consider to be like a gentleman's folder. Just classy looking, really narrow width, doesn't take up a lot of pocket room. It's not that thin overall, but we'll get to that and we'll make some comparisons real quick. So here it is, the Hunan versus the Griptilian. I'm sorry, not the Griptilian, the Bug Out. As you can see, it's just a little bit shorter than the Bug Out. Against the Tenacious with the copper scales, it is substantially smaller than that one. As I do these reviews, I come to notice more and more how big that knife actually is. One of my favorites, the Kershaw Leak. This is actually a pretty decent size comparison. pretty good comparison in size. You'll see the scales are a little bit shorter, but the overall blade length is actually right about the same, which is not standard of Spyderco. And since it was in my pocket, the Dragonfly. This is just what I was carrying around today. Yeah, so again, just a really nice knife. Titanium G10, S30V on the compression lock. Just a ridiculously clean, smooth action. One knife that I would absolutely compare this to, one of my favorites actually, in just about every way, from materials to price. It's the Benchmade Mini Griptilian. This is the blue class. As you can see, I went ahead and it's got those gray scales with the blue liners. I went ahead and changed out some of the hardware. Yeah, overall length very similar. Blade length very similar. Just about every way. This one might be the mini grip. These are just two very comparable knives. This one's got S20V, and it's got that compression lock, or not the compression lock. I've never tried that with this knife. Anyway, this one's got the S20 or 20 CV steel. We'll get into this one in another video. But yeah, just a really nice little knife. I really like it. There's two kind of flaws in this knife. Well, three actually, if you want to count an underpowered detent. Just got to shake it to open it. One is, which is ironic because you can do that. One is this flipper tab. I don't know if it's a combination of the size and weight of the blade, or if it's the tab's too small, or there's not enough real estate. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get this thing to fully open. You'll notice as I'm flipping these, you probably already noticed, there's been a couple of times where I came up short on the flip, as I get it every time now, right? I just don't know if it's a design thing where this is just so short. If you light switch it, you're gonna run across this compression lock, the jimping on top of this compression lock. It's not the worst in the world, but it's not pleasant. And if you do it enough times, it will become definitely a minor annoyance. You see, you get a full, not really a full 4-finger grip on it. I don't have the longest fingers or the biggest hands. I've just got kind of meaty hands. But you can really get on there, jimping on the top. I wish it went a little further down, but you know, whatever. Anyway, another problem is the way this compression lock is kind of recessed in there. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get to, because you can see that the scales are basically flush on both sides. So you really have to like dig your fingers into it to get in there. And with the compression lock and the flipper tab, you'll notice that the tab, as it comes closed, runs right across where your finger's going to be on that compression lock. So you can effectively stop the blade from coming completely shut if your finger's not out of the way in just the right place. See, there's another one. Like, you've got to really commit to that flip. I watched Nick Shabazz's video on this, and he had to give it a little wrist action every time, and that makes it 100%. But all that said, at the end of the day, I do still really love this knife. This is one that I am constantly wanting to take out of the pocket. Oh yeah, and the pocket clip is recessed into the scale. I don't know if how well it's going to show up on the camera. There is the divot, if you will, on the back side, or on the front side for all my lefties out there. It would carry about so deep, about that much would be sticking out of the pocket. But yeah, this is one that I constantly want to take out of the box and just fidget with. Just to figure it out, get the feel of it, not do that anymore, or that. Just an amazingly smooth action. Just a really fun little knife at the end. Probably, oh, failed. Probably the best comparisons. Like I said, these two, in almost every way, they're virtually identical. But yeah, just a really nice little knife, really fun. I think this would fill a fantastic role in just about anyone's collection as a nice classy carry or gentleman's carry. Yeah, if you ever get the chance, pick one up, take a look at it. Just understand it's got a fairly underpowered detent. The flipper tab interferes with the compression lock, and the compression lock is not exposed. And you've got to just learn your method of flipping it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, ask in the comments down below. And y'all just have a great night.